Snooper Thursday! Woo! 'Twas the night before Friday, and all through these shows, not a beer was brewing, not even a goes. John doesn't like this poem, hence the leer, and Matt's just thinking, shut up and open me a beer. Merry Christmas!
That was pretty great for being improvised.
Think that out like beforehand?
Just the goes part, because I couldn't think of what was going to rhyme with goes. So, but yeah.
So today on the show,
We're doing Christmas beers.
Yeah.
Hose.
Goes.
Oh yeah, oats and hose.
yeah, we're actually doing 2 Christmas beer shows. The first one this week is going to be strictly Belgian Christmas beers. There's been a tradition in Belgium for a very long time.
It's known as Christmas.
Sometime around,
for brewing
0
beers.
AD, I think.
For brewing beers specifically for Christmas. So we're doing a few Belgian Christmas beers.
What's this one?
Kind of
The worst boar piercer ever.
Yeah, man,
the worst
all
boar
those boars,
piercers.
all those boars, like they're piercings.
Beer
like
pour
yeah.
ever.
Well, the beer that we're doing is Phantom Noel.
You should watch the Beer Knots, because they'll teach you how to pour a beer. You turn it to a 45-degree angle, and you pour the beer gently.
This is coming from the guy who's always like, well, Randy Mosier says to do it straight down the middle.
Yeah,
so
if
that's
it's
what I
not
do.
this. So,
This show is off to such a
So
great
is
start.
it Beer Knots or Randy Mosier?
well, I'm going to go with Randy Mosier
I'll go
on
with
that
Randy
one.
on that one.
So,
Yeah.
well, this is...
Let's cheers this.
Yes, cheers to Fantôme and great Belgian beer.
Yes.
And to Christmas.
If you didn't know, the hat's on. It's Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, the next show we're going to be doing is American style, but today we're doing just a few of our favorite
So
Belgian.
yeah, this is
Christmas
Phantom
beers.
Noel. What year is this? This year's?
This is the current year's, yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually a three-peat. We've well, sort of. We've done Phantom Noel on the show before, which is actually the first show I was ever on.
Yes, I think
It's why this beer is kind of special to me. Big fruitiness, like right off the bat. It's got a nice, like,
so
kind of
it's-
spiciness.
It's really the nice, like,
Winter
sweet
fruit.
winter fruits. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's not the sour. It's kind of sweet. It's got a little bit of tartness on the back end, but it's got a lot of really nice sweetness to it.
Which is unusual because, well, I actually wouldn't say that anything is unusual for Phantom.
Now, that's one of the things that makes Danny a fantastic brewer is
That's
that he
good.
just doesn't take notes.
Yeah, he just goes for it.
That's
It's
an
very
interesting
instinctive.
flavor.
It really is.
What
It's,
is
it's
that?
almost got a smokiness to it.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's smoky,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's kind of like a tart, funky smoke.
Yeah. It's definitely Phantom.
It doesn't smell smoky.
No, it doesn't.
It tastes smoky.
Yeah.
Or it tastes
A little bit of like
not roasted, smoky.
It's not maple, but like a little bit of like sweet bacon.
Yeah, like Applewood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Applewood, good call. Yeah, getting that nice little tint of the sweet apple on there.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's kind of an apple.
It's got some appleiness to it too.
Huh. And this beer, like Steve said, is it more urban legend that he doesn't take notes, or he really doesn't take notes in his
He
beer?
does not take notes on
yeah.
his beer.
It's
Yeah,
more
that's
like
it.
in his head, and he knows what he did last time. Maybe he just has a really good memory.
Well, there's only one beer that he actually does sort of the same all the time, and that's just Phantom, which is the Saison. All the rest of them, he's got the 4 seasonals. And actually, I take that back. There are a couple of others, because there's like the Dandelion beer that I can't remember the name of. There's a few others. The Black Ghost is another one.
But for the most part,
Even then, it's like whatever trips his fancy at that point when they're brewing is what goes into the beer.
Yeah.
yeah, well, we'll
exactly.
just say with the Noel, it's a beer that you could say changes every year.
Definitely.
So, because I don't remember it tasting like this at all.
Yeah, well, and I remember the 09 was like tart. It actually had like some lack
Right.
of tartness to it.
Yeah, but the whole smoky applewood bacon thing, that's a really good way to describe it, and it's kind of cool because you don't get that smoke on the nose.
Yeah.
which is
You get that smoke in the water.
kind of neat.
Fire in the sky.
I like how it doesn't smell smoky, but it tastes smoky.
Yeah, and it should be pointed out that this isn't like we're drinking like Alaskan smoked porter or something like that. This
No,
is
it's a hint.
Yeah, it's definitely like kind of in the background of that winter fruit. It's got some spiciness to it. I think this has white pepper in it, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see,
Winter spruce flavor. Maybe it's the spruce.
Research.
some winter spruce flavor, and it's impossible to research Phantom. It's like you kind of have to just.
This
taste
is
it.
the research.
Yeah, you have to just taste it and guess. Which is
So-
again one thing I love.
Yeah, it's a great beer. Really
Yeah.
interesting.
The next beer we're going to jump into is the St. Bernardus Christmas Ale. St. Bernardus, as most people know, is one of my favorite Belgian breweries. Just because it's more because it was so available to me when I was going through that phase of Belgian beers that I just got so into, what they were about. St. Bernardus is one of the Abbey Ale producers that's not a Trappist brewery.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with making Trappist beer that tastes like Trappist beer. That's not
Like, bitches, we're going to make some money off this shit.
So they call it Abbey Ale.
Yeah. It should be
It's
noted.
kind of like a style, I guess.
Yeah, it should be noted that there are a lot of like Abbey style breweries.
Cheers.
St. Bernardus is cheers. St. Bernardus is probably one of the closest. They actually produced West Veterans beer for a long time. Like you could actually still
Well, and
find
we've talked.
vintages.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show before. The St. Bernardus AB212 is actually the original West E12 recipe that's now been changed.
I love the look of this beer. It's got these like really nice like ruby highlights. You know,
yeah.
it's
Crystal clear.
yeah, it's kind of bordering on like brownish, but it's not.
It's got a thin, foamy head that is very kind of hangs out.
It's got a lot of lasting power for sure. But yeah,
The-
this is a very pretty beer.
This is a beer. We probably should have done this beer before the Fantôme, but we did the Fantôme because we opened it pre-show.
Yeah.
But this beer doesn't quite have as big and robust a flavor profile as the Fantôme Noel does. So it's a little bit kind of washed out right now for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you still get that prune, a little bit of that fig flavor.
Caramely.
And it's very smooth. It's very easy to drink. You drink a little and your mouth is asking for some more.
I almost think these Christmas beers tend to have at least the Belgian ones, they're not thin, but they're highly carbonated.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I've noticed with a lot of Belgian style Christmas beers that they come off very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bright. It's very lifting.
On your tongue. It's,
Yeah.
There's a word for it.
Effervescent.
Yes.
There you go. Well done.
Choose all my words.
I'm getting really nice maltiness off of this. It's almost like a bready, like not quite bread crust. It doesn't quite have that like toasty quality. It's more like that liquid bread, almost like you would get off of a Doppelbock in a weird way. That same kind of like dark malt character, Got a lot of like really nice like black pepper notes in the nose.
Yeah, I'm getting. It's got that fruity same kind of thing happening. I think, and that's more. I think it's more the yeast than anything else at this point that's doing that.
Well, I mean that's kind of your Abbey Ale. High gravity and ferment super hot. Get that.
Yeah, you do get a little heat on it
peppery
too, though.
phenolic.
Now that you mention that.
Yeah.
My sinuses are kind of messed up too right now. Not that I'm an expert, but I've had a bad week.
Sounds like I call foul.
Yeah, it was a bad dry week. My nose hates me.
Seriously, dude. I wake up every morning and I cannot breathe because my mouth is like completely
I
dried
told
out.
Yvonne this morning. I go,
Welcome to Southern California, bitches.
my sinuses are so dry right now. Oh my god. She's like, put Vaseline in your nose. I was like, that sounds like the worst thing.
I've heard people say they
Well,
I wonder if you put Vicks Vapor Rub in your nose, if you would just
That would
die.
That would
kill
be
you.
very, very
you would
painful.
just die.
Yeah, that would be awful.
the cool thing about this is like you get a really quality beer and it's readily available. I've
everywhere.
never not seen this.
That they do have the perfect balance between exceptional quality and exceptional availability.
Yeah.
And that's what you lack with some of the other Belgian breweries is
Yeah,
that they
I
all
think-
are. I don't think there's any Belgian breweries that are. Well, I'm sure there's some that make bad beer, but I don't know what they are. But there's none that make bad beer that are all over the place.
That's true. Honestly, as far as, like,
that wouldn't have come out all choppy if there wasn't a cat puking on the carpet.
So on that note, we're gonna
Like, I don't know what to say right now.
we're gonna finish this and then
We're gonna go into Guten Currywurst.
mop up,
Yeah, head
mop
into
up
the,
after Marco.
the Carolist. So
We're doing the Guten Carolus Noel, which is a personal favorite of mine.
Been
You might
brewed since
know-
the 1300s.
Yeah.
I don't believe I've had this beer.
Yeah, you might know Guten Carolus from the Cuvée Van de Kaiser, which is their quad. It's like their kind of.
Yeah, more than likely you
Ooh,
know
this
them.
smells really good. Shut up and smell it.
More than likely you know them from the Guten Carolus that's available everywhere at every liquor store and gas station throughout the United
It
States.
kind of smells like
Which is kind of a meh beer,
kind of
but
smells like
everything else they do is good.
eggnog-ish with alcohol. That's the first thing I thought of.
Eggnog?
Oh, there's actually a big hint of like
Some kind of boozy.
not whiskey, but like
See?
yeah. No, I get what you're going for. Yeah.
It's definitely a boozy son of a bitch.
Ooh, hello.
The more you smell it, it's like a
This
really...
is definitely the one we should have done last.
It's like a fruity...
It's like winter fruit
kinda
infused.
rummy
Well, no, it's winter
smelling.
fruit.
Rummy, that's a good way to put
Winter
it.
fruit infused whiskey.
I'm gonna go more rummy because it has more of like a sugary kind of thing.
Well, that's what I'm getting. The back end of that's not rum. That's hard. Like
Well, the reason I
Rum
say
is
rum
hard liquor.
isn't... You put
say
brandy
hard
in
liquor.
eggnog, no?
Yes.
But we put rum in our eggnog, and just because that's what we have.
is eggnog one or
good.
two words?
Who knows?
Good question. Tell us.
So that's what it reminded me of, and that's why I said rum.
Ooh, no. You know what? We're all wrong. It's anise. This is black licorice. This is all sorts of absinthe.
Okay, yeah, there's some...
Yeah,
anise in there.
I can see that for sure. Yeah, I believe this one is actually spiced, which is more common for those big Belgian holiday beers. Because a lot of times they'll take like a really big, strong, dark beer, and then they'll put
That
a bunch of,
one-
like wintry type spices in it.
This one by far has the best nose though.
Yeah.
The Fantôme had a really fruity nose. The Saint Bernardus had a more traditionally Belgian, I think, nose.
Yeah, it was more like yeast forward. This one's yeast forward too, but it's bigger.
This
It's
nose-
more aromatic.
This nose, like the aroma wafts into your nose and it says, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm gonna get you really drunk.
The more I smell it, though,
Embrace me."
I do get that black licorice, and you can taste the black
Yeah,
licorice.
no, that
on
was
it, too.
that was a good catch for sure.
You can taste black licorice on it too.
Yeah. One reason that I'm glad that we did this is because it's, these are all done with the same purpose in mind, but they're all very much different
Very
takes
different,
on
yeah.
what you can do with it. Even though they're all right around the same ABV, right around the same color, they're all very different beers.
But
So-
they're all very similar at the same time.
that's true.
They have that
the spice characteristics.
typical Belgian quality, and I think that's what's cool about these Christmas beers. And they're all pretty accessible, and you could like have a really cool horizontal type tasting.
And if you were to
Yeah.
do that, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Style tasting.
but if you were going to do this for like Christmas dinner, my recommendation based on this is that you start off with the St. Bernardus as your like, welcome to the house, have a beer, sit down and relax, blah, blah, blah. The
Then the
Fantôme
Fantôme.
you break out during dinner,
That's a dessert beer.
and that one comes out with the fruitcake. Do people still do fruitcake for Christmas, or is that a myth?
The Frenches do.
All right.
Robert French. I saw him making his fruitcake on Instagram, I think. But yeah, well, no, I personally
We don't actually interact with any of these people. We just see them on Instagram.
I have had not nearly enough Robert French in my life lately.
Agreed.
I need more
Julie.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Julie and Robert.
Yeah, exactly. But I would honestly say no, because I think all of these would be dessert beers. I think you would kind of break them all out at the same
Well,
time.
that's
with
another
the
good
same
point. I
pairing.
think they could also be all dessert beers, but if you wanted to break it down for like the evening, I don't know, even
Yeah.
it's Christmas Eve, it's like, yeah, do it that way.
I'm going to disagree with you on that just because, given this experience right now, the St. Bernardus has no business in a horizontal tasting with these. It can't hold up to it. It's not a
disagree.
bad beer. It's not at all a bad beer, but it does not have the components that are going to battle with these two
I
beers.
would disagree with that.
Yeah,
This is
I'm gonna
strictly
go
a
ahead
starter
and
beer.
disagree. I think no. Well, I think that it is milder, relatively speaking. But I mean, if you compare it to other beers like a standard Duvel or like a something like that, it's still going to be bigger and it's still going to be more in your face.
Yeah, that's like saying, oh, well, if you put this next to a Bud Light, it's going to be fine. No, that's not the...
Wait,
that's-
whoa.
Duvel's not Bud Light. That's not what I'm saying.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you
apologize
can't...
for that right now.
I apologize. That was a bad timing for that statement.
I know what
But
you're
you know what I'm
saying.
saying? Like you
But
can't
never
you can't take
put
a
Duvel
second.
and Bud Light in the same
You
time.
can't take a secondary beer like that that's not even in this realm and say, well, if you put it up to this, it's still bigger.
These
It's
are,
like, well, of course
this
it is.
This is the kind of argument you can have with your friends and family while trying this horizontal.
Because it's better than talking about, Aunt Rose's bad breath and Uncle Henry's drinking problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever the case may be. So I think this was really interesting to do. These are three very similar, I think, underlying similarities with each other beers, but they are very different.
And aside from the Fantôme, the Guden
Carolus.
and the St. Bernardus are pretty widely available. You can find those all over the place. Fantome's going to be a little bit harder. You'll have to go to a specialty shop for that. That's not even like a Bev mode. That's more like a Total Wine. Or
No, I think you can find some Fantome. You might find that at Bevmo.
It depends. You know, their
Wine.
stuff is kind
Wine.
of spotty. Generally, if you
Total
have,
Wine will definitely have
Yeah,
it.
generally, if you have someone in the store who knows what they're talking about concerning beer, then they'll probably have
And
it.
if you're in the Chatworth area, go to Liquid Brews. They'll have it.
There you go.
So,
If you're in Riverside, go to La Bodega.
Yeah.
although they didn't call me about their blind pig.
Ask for Kim.
Yeah.
She's the
Cam
woman.
Didn't call me about the blind pig.
Whatever, Steve.
So.
Hater. All right,
anyways.
so until next week, be merry and drink beer.
Cheers.